Alright guys, welcome back to Jackson Max Plays, and today, well actually, Jackson Max Reacts.
In October
Bro,
2024,
stop unpausing the video!
in October, in
Oh my gosh!
October,
Wait! Okay. We are going to be reacting. Oh, that was a bad voice crack. Okay, I don't care. We are going to be watching, like, crimes. Yay! Also, guys, viewer discretion advised. Yeah.
in October 2024, a Google Street View car captured what looked like the aftermath of a horrific crime in the small Spanish town of Tahueco. It captured a man loading a large white bag into the trunk of his car. Now, this easily could have had an innocent explanation. However, many noted that the bag's shape looked a lot like a human body, and unfortunately, that is exactly what it turned out to be. The bag contained the remains of a 32-year-old Cuban man named Jorge Luis Perez. He had gone missing in November 2023 after sending a message to his family saying he was leaving Soria, the place he had lived, with a girl he had met, and that he would no longer be using that phone. One of his cousins found this highly suspicious and reported his disappearance to the police. However, despite the investigators' best efforts, they were unable to find any clues that could help them find Jorge. There were no witnesses or any surveillance footage that could point them in the right direction. So, the case went cold for months. Or at least until one of the investigators came across the Google Street View images in November 2024. Coincidentally, the Street View car had also captured the same man carrying the white plastic bag in a wheelbarrow on the way to his car. These images proved to be the final piece in solving the mystery of Jorge's disappearance. They were able to narrow down the list of potential suspects by tracing the vehicle back to its owner, a 48-year-old Tahueco resident named Manuel Isla Gallardo, who worked at the town hall in the neighboring town. However, Manuel had no prior history of violence or any other illegal activity, making it difficult for the authorities to arrest him without any solid evidence. But after tapping his phone and trailing him for a couple of weeks, the investigators uncovered the connection they were looking for. He was in a relationship with Jorge's partner, and as later investigation would reveal, Manuel and this partner kidnapped and later killed Jorge because of this love triangle. They likely would have gotten away with it as well if not for the Street View images, a discovery that was nothing short of a miracle. You see, the town of Tahueco has fewer than 50 residents, so there were no eyewitnesses to Manuel putting Jorge in his car. Additionally, the Google Street View car just so happened to be driving through Tahueco for the first time in 15 years. Both Manuel and his partner were arrested on November 11th after investigators found more evidence linking them to Jorge's disappearance in their home. Their arrest also led to the discovery of Jorge's remains in a cemetery about 15 minutes from where the Google Street View images were captured, finally bringing closure to his tragic case.
That's sad. I wouldn't be sad if that was you.
In December 2018, the Brisbane Police Department in Australia received a missing person report regarding 46-year-old Priscilla Bruton. She was an American beauty queen who moved to Australia with her daughter back in 2013 to start a new life. Things were going well for Priscilla. However, during the latter half of 2018, she stopped posting on social media and completely cut off communication with her friends and family back in the US. After months of silence, one of her friends contacted the police, sparking an investigation into her disappearance. But she was nowhere to be found. She was last seen at the house of her boyfriend, Mark Waden, who she met during a Zumba class in 2017. However, when questioned, Mark claimed that they had actually broken up back in June 2018. He also suggested that she went missing on purpose to avoid immigration, since she was apparently overstaying her visa by that point. But this wasn't enough to convince the investigators of his innocence, as they also found Priscilla's car just 11 miles from his home. With no other leads, police began to consider the possibility of a potential homicide, and that's where they made a grim discovery. Priscilla was, without a doubt, dead. Even more shockingly, she was buried in Mark's front yard. Cadaver dogs helped pinpoint her exact burial location near the home's entrance, prompting an excavation to recover her remains on June 8, 2019. However, while the investigators did find some evidence from the dig site, most of the body was completely missing, which didn't seem to make any sense. As it turned out, Mark caught wind of the upcoming excavation in May, hired a construction crew to dig up the area with Priscilla's remains, and transported it to an unknown location with a trailer. What he didn't know, however, was that his crime had been captured on camera long before the investigation ever began. In August 2018, a Google Street View car matched the Breckenridge area around Mark's home. Caught wind of the upcoming excavation in May, hired a construction crew to dig up the area with Priscilla's remains, and transported it to an unknown location with a trailer. What he didn't know, however, was that his crime had been captured on camera long before the investigation ever began. In August 2018, a Google Street View car mapped the Breckenridge area around Mark's home. And as it passed in front of his property, it captured what appears to be the very grave he dug for Priscilla, right where she was eventually buried. It even showed the trailer he would later use to hide the evidence. This, combined with testimonies from neighbors who saw him digging in the yard at unusual hours, made it impossible for him to play dumb and get away with his crime. He was finally arrested on the 13th of June and is currently awaiting sentencing while under house arrest.
Dang. Yeah, take that. Bro, I just got instant karma.
Sometime in 2018, Google updated the Street View in the Ecatepec de Morelos municipality in Mexico. Among the many new snapshots were the pictures of this rather unassuming empty lot with bags of trash scattered around the overgrown plants. However, those trash bags concealed a horror beyond what anyone in that neighborhood could have imagined. What? The truth came to light when the local police investigated a string of disappearances in the area and no In October 2024, Google Street View captured what looked caught wind of the upcoming excavation in May, hired a construction crew to dig up the area with Priscilla's remains and transport.
What the? Owie, stop. Oh my gosh! What?
Something on your mind, son?
Stop. Stop. Stop!
In October 2024.
Is this how you look? Do I talk to you as a 50-year-old man?
In October 2020, made a living by selling.
Stop, actually.
In October 2024, a Google Street View car closed doors.
Stop it.
In October 2024, a Google Street women, they were all young.
Yes, and again, let's say that.
Nope. Ah! It's okay. What are my friends, bro? What the? I need new friends. Yeah, so I guess that's the end of the video. If you would like me to react more without those bozos, like if you would like me to react more to more stuff, then comment down below. And yeah, here we go. Yeah, like, yeah, just click off the video so it doesn't